Now about the annual General Assembly of the Nigeria Football Federation. A crucial time in Nigeria football to also, of course, talk about some talking points coming up in our sports here in Nigeria. And of course, to join me in this conversation is the chairman of the Nigeria National League and is also a member of the NFF executive, and that's George ALUO. Great to have you, George, on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the support you've given to Nigerian Football Federation. And thank you for all the support that you give to the football and football development in our dear country.
Yeah, so let's get to it. A long-term plan for the Super Eagles coach is the first question, really, because it's something that, is a cause for concern currently, although we know that Eguavon is, of course, leading a consortium of coaches at the moment. But then could you give us, some of your thoughts on the resolutions of the Assembly?
Yeah, thank you. The resolution on the Assembly is the fact that we had a very fruitful AGA, that's the Annual General Assembly, this morning in Asaba, Delta State. It was graced by the acting governor of Delta State, who represented the governor. He was there. We say thank you to Delta State government for accepting to host the AGM of NFF. You know that Delta is like the mecca of football in our country, and they are the number one state when it comes to sports in Nigeria. So we are comfortable here in Delta State, and where the Honorable Minister of Sports, Senator John Onowino, was equally here, and he spoke and charged the Soccer Federation, talk about NFF, to ensure that Nigeria qualifies for the World Cup. And he is satisfied with the way the Ibrahim Gusau-led board of NFF has been carrying on after 2 years in office. Apart from the AGA, the board of Nigeria Football Federation is two, the incumbent board led by Ibrahim Gusau, and it has been 2 years of wonderful efforts to take Nigerian football to the next level. And for us, as a soccer federation, we know that we equally thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the special interest he has shown in our football. You remember, ahead of the Nations Cup early this year, the President gave us all the support we needed, and that's all the Super Eagles going all the way to the finals at the Nations Cup in Cote d'Ivoire. So the entire Congress were grateful to President Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu for showing a special interest in our football and for helping the game to grow in the country. For us in the board of NFF, the Congress was a very fruitful one. It is the highest decision-making body of football in our country. All the 36 states were represented except for the FCT, where the secretary had an accident on his way to Asaba. But the good news is that he is doing well. He is recuperating in hospital, so there's no loss of life, and we thank God for that. So on the whole, it was a good annual General Assembly, and the Congress, that is the chairman and secretary of the 36 states, commended the NFF executive for the way they have handled issues affecting Nigerian football in the last 1 year.
Okay, so what were the critical decisions that was resolved to be taken in the Congress?
Well, you know that the Congress is not a place where you come to talk about taking decisions, and maybe you are talking about taking decisions that affect the Super Eagles or taking decisions that it affects. We looked at the Congress today, looked at the activities of Nigerian football in the last 1 year. They endorsed the budget of the Soccer Federation for the next year moving forward. And they gave a clean bill of health to the Soccer Federation because our accounts were well audited, and the external auditor came and briefed the Congress, the entire Congress, on the income and expenditure of the Football Federation in the last 1 year. These are some of the decisions that were taken, and at the end of the day, the Congress equally gave the mandate, fresh mandate to President Ibrahim Guzo, the president of NFF, passing a vote of confidence on him and telling him to continue in the stead and ensure that Nigeria qualifies for the World Cup. The major challenge is to qualify for the World Cup in USA 2026. You know, the World Cup is going to be the biggest World Cup in Mexico, Canada, and USA. And for us, it is a major hurdle. The Super Eagles, you can see, have bounced back to reckoning with the qualifiers, Nations Cup qualifiers. You saw the performance against Republic of Benin and all of that. So we are confident that when the World Cup qualifiers begin again in March, the Super Eagles will come back strong. Yes, we started badly, but we are confident that Nigeria will eventually qualify for the World Cup in USA.
All right, so how satisfactory is it deemed that, you know, football has been in the last 1 year? I mean, the Congress met, as you said, discussed a lot of things, you know, looking at the last calendar year. But, you know, many Nigerians, well, they have a lot to say about what happened in football, Nigerian football, concerning our grassroots football, concerning the top flight football, concerning the national teams as well. But how satisfactory was it deemed, Nigerian football, you know, over the last 1 year?
It has been very good. You remember it was this year that nobody gave the Super Eagles a chance of qualifying for the going far in the Nations Cup. But at the end of the day, we got to the finals. It was a very Herculean task in the finals, but it went the way it went. Silver was not a bad outing. And you remember that the Super Falcons, equally for the first time in 16 years, qualified for the Olympics. And we were put in a very difficult group. It's a group that had world champion Spain, a group that had USA and all of that. So it was tight, but they gave a good account of themselves. Nigerians were impressed with the performance of the Super Falcons in Paris, just as they were satisfied with the performance of our team in Australia when we went for the World Cup. So our team, the Super Falcons, ranks among the top 10 in the world. So if you look at the performance of the Super Falcons, the performance of Super Eagles, the only thing now is that we started the World Cup qualifiers on a bad note, but we are not out. What we are urging Nigerians is to support the team. You can see that since Augustine Eguavoen took over the team has really bounced back. We were able to get results, even against Republic of Benin and Rwanda. And the next challenge is next week against Libya. Libya will be coming here. We are topping the group in the Nations Cup qualifiers, and we hope to continue in that stead. And at the eighth grade levels, Nigerian teams have been doing well. And we hope that we looked at the preparations of the Flying Eagles ahead of the WAFU qualifiers in Togo this month. So all of that are on the table. And our girls too, the Falconets, are going to campaign in Dominican Republic. They've just arrived that country. So for us as a federation, we are doing our best to make Nigerians happy. The last 1 year has not been a bad one for Nigerian football at all.
Okay, interesting. So you mentioned some critical points there, like Eguavoen is currently leading a consortium of coaches, and of course, there's not been a bad start for him. A win and a draw in the September international window, and now we'll take on Libya. But then, looking towards the long-term plans for who would fill the void as the head coach of the Super Eagles, what are the what are the landmarks that we're looking at right now? Are we looking at Eguavoen retaining his job on a more permanent basis? He's come out to say, look, if it's going to be a long-term plan, then he's going to be wanting to be part of it. But are we also looking at a foreign coach? I mean, I'm sure this was discussed in the Congress.
No, it was not discussed at the Congress. For now, Eguavoen is fully in charge. And we have thrown our weight behind him to do well, and we are satisfied with the performance he has put up in the 2 games that he was in charge. And you don't change a winning team. When Eguavoen started with the game against Republic of Benin, he did very well, went away, did well again, and you don't change a winning team. In the interim, we have confidence in Eguavoen and the consortium of coaches that we put in place. And moving forward, we want to see how far we'll go in the Nations Cup qualifiers that are coming back to back. Like I told you, we'll have 2 games against Libya by next weekend, home and away. And after that, we'll have another round of qualifiers again in November. So you don't just begin to change this synergy that is ongoing in the Super Eagles at the moment. Maybe after these qualifiers, by March, we'll now do a review of the situation and know what next to do by the time the World Cup qualifiers resume in March next year. But for now, Eguavoen is fully in charge, and we're impressed with the job he's doing.
All right, we also know that Randy Waldrum is no longer coach. It's no news. He's no longer coach for the Super Falcons, and Justin Madugu is holding the fort as interim head coach. But also, we should consider the long-term plan for the Super Eagles and Super Falcons as well.
Yeah, the Super Falcons, Madugu is in charge, not Justin Madugu. And you know that the brief period when Justin Madugu took charge, when Randy Wardrum was not there, he did very, very well with our national teams too. So for now, he is in charge. We are going to ensure that we prepare very well for the Nations Cup, the Women's Nations Cup next year. And to that effect, the Soccer Federation has arranged international friendlies for the Super Falcons too. That will be coming up either this October or early November, and it will be a two-legged international friendly with Algeria. All that is being worked out so that Madugu will begin to put plan in place and begin to build a new Super Falcons teams. Well, the home-based, most of the people that will prosecute this international friendly will be home-based players, and then he'll begin. Because if you look at the under-20, we have identified several players that can make it to the Super Eagles, to the Super Falcons moving forward.
All right, so let's consider Nigerian clubs on the continent now. We're talking about Enugu Rangers and the likes. You know, it's always been at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium that they get to use for their home matches. Also, this is the same stadium that the Super Eagles uses as well. Are there long-term plans as well to expand beyond the Godswill Akpabio Stadium? Probably have, you know, new facilities where teams could play their games, so that the likes of Remo Stars, Enugu Rangers, El Kanemi Warriors don't just, you know, get clogged with using the Godswill Akpabio Stadium.
Yes, for now we're happy, we're lucky that we have Godswill Akpabio Stadium passing both CAF and FIFA tests, and you can see that even some other countries have come here to play their own international games. So Comoros played here because they don't have a stadium to play. But the president of Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Guzo, has moved to equally talk to major stakeholders to ensure that Nigeria gets more facilities that can host international football. You remember he paid the courtesy call to the Adamawa State Governor, His Excellency Fitiri, who has assured that the international stadium in Yola will be ready before the end of this year. So we are looking at possibly taking some of our games to Yola if that stadium is ready. And there are some other state government too that are working on their facilities, because the whole idea is that for us to have more than one stadium that can host our games. But for now, Godswill Akpabio is one of the best stadiums in the world, and it has gotten CAF and FIFA nod. And even the Remo, the financier of Remo Stars itself, Kunle Shoname, is even planning to build a bigger stadium, so that at the end of the day, Remo will have a facility that will be able to host CAF and international games. The only challenge with Remo is that it's not up to 10,000 capacity. So Kunle Shoname is a solid financier of football. He's looking in that direction to expand that stadium or possibly build another one in the next couple of years, so that Remo can equally be hosting international games.
All right, thank you very much for your thoughts and contributions, George ALUO, the chairman of the Nigerian National League and also an executive member of the NFF.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.